What's going on, guys? This is Josh
And James.
of the MMA Complex, and we are back with a brand new episode in a brand new studio.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you guys are watching on YouTube. You guys could check it out. We're in a brand new studio. We got all this whole new setup, and we're adding to it still. It's in a work in progress,
It's a work in progress.
I think we're pretty happy with it so far. We got some nice couches here, nice logo,
Very
nice.
very comfortable. Very expensive, but comfortable.
yeah, that's the price we have to pay. But it's glad to be here. Brand new episode. We got some great guests for you guys today. But we're happy to start this off. It's a new era, I think, in the world of MMA Complex here, and this is going to start a lot of things to come. Brand new stuff, and I'm just excited to be in this new studio. What do you feel about this whole setup now we have?
I love it. I mean, when we were planning things in our head and kind of talking to each other about it, had a certain vision in my head. But then when it came to fruition, I'm more than happy. It passed my expectations for sure. I'm happy with the look, and I'm excited to see how our new studio even progress even better in the future. So a lot of ideas.
Yeah, this was a work in progress. We wanted to kind of do this at some point this year. You know what I mean? And I think we wanted to, at least in my head, I wanted to do it before the end of the year. I'm glad we were able to get it done like early fall, so now we could just like build on it.
Yeah.
But the new studio is up and running. New setups, new mics, new little mic stand here, little arms and everything. I like it.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
The couches are cool. I like it.
Like we're not like fucking shoulder to shoulder anymore.
Yeah, right.
We're our own space, which is nice.
Yeah, if you watch the YouTube channel, which I would suggest for everybody to go on there and subscribe to it. Our old setup, we would be on like almost a desk setup. It was kind of tight space, but
it was a desk meant for one person. But we had two. Yeah,
we had a really nice area with that setup. Before we had to switch studios, came to a new location. So we had to struggle with this new location for a little bit until we got this up and running. So I'm glad to.
Yeah, but I mean, like all great shows, evolve. So this is our evolution, and it's going to get even better. So stay tuned, guys.
So on the show today, we have some great guests. We have Ariel Machado, Glory Kickboxing light heavyweight. He competes in October for the light heavyweight title. He's on the show today, so we'll get to his interview soon. Then we have Brenda. Enriquez, Hands of Stone. She just fought for Combate this past weekend. Got a unanimous decision victory, and you guys are going to enjoy her interview. We're going to get to her pretty soon. She'll be first up. But first, I mean, there was a lot to cover for last week. You had Rockhold versus Branch. You had Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. There was a lot to go over, but we'll stick with the UFC just for now. Rockhold wins via TKO stoppage. You had David Branch tapping out the strikes. Rough start for Rockhold in the first round, and then ended up taking it to the ground and dominated from there. Was a fight kind of how you saw it going, or did you think Rockhold was going to struggle that much in the first round?
I think if we watched last episode, we both said that it's going to be an easy fight for Rockhold. I mean, I thought it was going to be a pretty easy walk through, just because of his experience and how big he is, and how powerful he is, especially with his kicks.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case. Looking back at it now, I'm not surprised. He had a long layover. I'm sure it took time for him to adjust to being in the cage again. But once he read the storm, and I do believe that Branch won the first round. I think.
Definitely.
After the second round, he kind of picked up the pace, and he got the finished victory. That he still got the win, but it took him longer than expected. And I believe it's because of the layoff.
I think so too. I mean, the layoff. He might have took Branch a little light.
He's known to do that in the past. I see. That's how he lost the title.
Yeah,
to Bisping.
And then fighting backwards, I don't know how well he does, because Branch went after him and landed a lot of shots, and Luke Rockhold luckily was able to tie him up, but it was and that kind of didn't work in his favor with against Bisping when he lost the title. So aggressive fighters, it's tough for him. So who knows? I don't know if it's a hole in Rockhold's game to where you press at action, you got good striking, you might be able to catch him. That might be something he needs to work on, because 2 fights in a row where he's almost nearly got taken out. Well, the first one he did, but the second one, with the Branch, it got pretty close. But once it got to the ground, I mean, Rockhold's so big, so dominant, and so strong on the top game
Yeah.
that it was all Rockhold from there. Once it went down to the ground.
Yeah, and for Branch, I think he has a more victory in his loss. I think he did well in the first round.
Yeah.
Considering it's his first UFC fight under the bright lights and fighting a former champion Luke Rockhold. I think he just works on his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu. I think that his next opponent will probably be a downgrade from Rockhold, which is good for him,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe slowly progress and get back to that top 5, top 10 level.
Yeah. I mean, it might. We felt that I think we both agree that it was a little bit too much for Branch early on, even though former champion, former WSOF light heavyweight and middleweight champion, current he vacated his title, went over to the UFC. Yeah, I still thought it was a little bit too much for him.
Yeah, and
Rockhold's the top 5 guy.
Yeah, no, you're right. And no disrespect to WSOF.
Yeah.
I mean, the lead is at the UFC.
Yeah, the lead. Yes, yeah, exactly. And Rockhold's used to fighting killers, and Branch is not. So I mean, against Rockhold, it was going to be a lot for him, and it kind of proved it. Once Rockhold got his footing, that was it. He took over.
Yeah.
The card overall was pretty good. You had Mike Perry in the co-main event. Dominant victory. You had a bunch of other fights on the card. A lot of finishes.
Yeah.
A lot of finishes. I mean, I saw a lot of they post up a lot of highlights over after the fights, and there was just nothing but finish knockout KO clips like on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah, as it happens when a card goes on the radar, and a lot of times these fighters who are on these cards have a kind of chip on their shoulder, I believe, and they want to like prove that they're worthy of eyeballs being watched them. So I think fighters went out there and competed to finish, and we got a lot of the finishes. But I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, Josh. I know like we're still in the middleweight division.
Yeah.
And I don't want to forget this question later on. So since we're on the topic, I'm going to ask you now. I don't know if you caught the Michael Bisping interview on the MMA Hour.
Yeah.
But Michael Bisping saying that win or lose, this is his last fight.
This is the last fight, exactly.
So I mean, if he wins the title and he walks away, I mean, do you feel like it's gonna, like, how bad does that look
on him?
On him and for the title too.
I think I don't think he's gonna actually do that. I think if he lost to GSP, I don't know if that's a safe, like a way out for him, like a little safety net for him in terms of his legacy. If he loses GSP, he could be like, I was on my way out anyway. I had 1 foot out the door anyway. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
Yeah.
So that might be something that he's thinking about, or the fact that once he gets past GSP, he's got a lot of people that he's got to worry about. A lot of guys that are just that can easily take the title from him, and most likely.
Yeah, I mean, I see him seeing this fight as a way to cash out, and leave it, and be able to say that he left as a champion.
Yeah,
I mean, he is up there in age. His career he's probably the best that we've seen right now than ever.
Yeah,
but I think
he knows what he has in front of him, though.
Yeah, I think beating GSP, in my opinion, would kind of up his stock, and I think he could demand more money.
Yeah,
but like you said, he has Luke, Rockhold waiting for him. You got, Yo Romero he has beef with. He has a bunch of guys who are after his head. So I don't know. I can see him using it as an excuse and saying that, I'm retired to kind of avoid those fighters.
But I think he's too proud and too competitive of a fighter to really retire after this one. I think it's. I say he fights again. I think he fights one of the top 5 guys, probably.
Regardless,
probably Whitaker. I think regardless of the outcome. Well, I think as long as he's champion, if he's champion, if he beats GSP, I say he competes one more time against Whitaker. Maybe loses the title, goes out on his shield, retires from the game. Cool. If he loses the GSP, I could see him retiring too. If he's really that serious about it, I could see that happening. I mean, why not? You lose your title to a non-middleweight. You know what I mean? A guy who's been out of the game for 3-4 years.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's not a good look. So I could see him retiring, depending on the circumstances. If he wins, I say he competes one more time.
Yeah.
So in terms of the back to Luke Rockhold, though, if he what do you think his chances are? Let's say he competes against another top five guy, or even competes for the title. Do you see him being a champion in the next, let's say, year or so? By the
No, I mean I see Whitaker beating him.
yeah,
I see just because he's really vulnerable when it comes to those big shots, and
mm-hmm.
no matter how big he is and how strong he is, um, if you look back to all his fights, he's always in trouble somehow, some way.
Yeah,
And with Chris Weidman, he pretty much Weidman pretty much gave him that victory
yeah,
both times. So I think as long as you hit him and you hurt him, you have a good chance of beating him. And I think Whitaker is a well-rounded fighter and too smart to
yeah.
let Rockhold beat him. So I mean, when I see Whitaker, guys like Bisping, I don't know. It's hard for me to say that he's gonna be champion in the year. What about you?
I would. I think I agree with you too.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting past a guy like Whitaker. The only way is maybe if he was able to get it down to the ground, but Whitaker's so quick.
Mhm. And he has a
So
chin on him too.
yeah, so he has a chin on him, so explosive that it'll be tough for I think Rockhold to get him down. The only thing that plays in Rockhold's favor is his kicks and his size, but
Yeah.
outside of that, I think he probably has a really good chance against most of the division. I think I could see him beating Bisping. Weidman, if they ever fought again, I can see him probably having a good chance of beating Weidman again.
I would love to
Um,
see Rockwood at 205.
yeah, Rockhold at 205 because he's such a big, tall guy. We've seen him in person. He
Yeah.
stands out. So he can definitely make the weight class for 205. But
I think as DC's a champ.
DC's a champ, yeah. And I mean, he's not going to go up to 205. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So.
Or heavyweight, but that'd be stupid of him.
That'll be too much. I think. I could definitely see him fighting for at least a title, but I don't see him. I think his biggest and toughest test is Whitaker, and I don't see him or much of the division really getting past Whitaker.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
it's too much.
Yeah, Whitaker's young. He's aggressive, and his IQ in the fight game is really high. So
Yeah,
I don't see anybody beating him right now.
no, not at all. And he's a Whitaker is just like insane. His the rise that he's had in the recent year, and his skill set, what he's done is just it's insane. And I think he's once he gets his shot at the title, I think he's gonna hold it for quite a
Yeah,
while.
I agree.
So you have 216. It's coming up soon. They announced DJ and Borg as the co-main event. Kevin Lee and Ferguson as the main event. Do you think this was a right choice by the UFC to keep Ferguson and Lee, the higher weight class, as the main event instead of the champ and DJ?
Yeah, I believe so. I think the UFC did the right call. Historically, like you look back in history, and it's always been
Yeah,
the higher weight class headlining it. There's been some occasions where the lighter weight class did headline, but for
yeah,
the most part, they always go for the higher weight class. I think if you look at the two fights, Borg and Mighty Mouse, yeah,
yeah,
Mighty Mouse is going for that historic win, you know, breaking the record, Anderson was long record. That's very important. But if you look at the Kevin Lee and Ferguson, I think that has more heat than the Borg fight.
mm-hmm.
I think fans are more excited to see Ferguson and Lee just because of their fighting styles and the reward. The winner fights Connor, and I think people are intrigued, more intrigued than Mighty Mouse going for history. And it's sad because I think that this fight for Mighty Mouse means a lot because of the historic value to it. But look at the two fights. I think Ferguson and Lee is a more exciting fight. I think Mighty Mouse isn't a very good talker. Neither
Yeah.
is Borg, and I think there's a bit of heat with Kevin Lee and Ferguson, which equals to a better promotion for those two guys.
I think so too. I mean, in terms of promoting, you definitely want the fight with the most heat as the main event, and then that's definitely Ferguson and Kevin Lee. I think it's also the most competitive fight.
Yeah,
Um, the fact that they are a higher weight class, I think I'm okay with the fact that they're staying as the main event. Even though it kind of goes against the I guess
Norm.
the norm of UFC cards as the champions go headline and everybody else follows. But it's also maybe a safe, like a precautionary thing for the UFC
Mm-hmm.
that they don't lose their main event.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Borg has a history of
yeah,
coming out of fights, calling fights.
Ferguson and Lee have a higher chance of actually making it to the fight, whereas Borg could easily,
Not make weight again.
not make weight again.
Get
And
sick,
yeah, he had issues making weight for the recently on their previously scheduled fight, and with that short window of a weight cut that he has to make for 216, he could easily get sick again, or maybe not even make the fight.
Yeah. I mean, he's lucky that he's even getting a second opportunity after not making weight.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know how Dana feels about that, but I think that's another point too, is that the fact that Borg, this is their second booking of that fight. I think fans are kind of annoyed with it from the first time around. And I think I think the intrigue of Conor looming in the shadows of Kevin Lee and Ferguson is important, because it's an interim title, but it's pretty much the number one contender fight title to face Conor McGregor. And
yeah,
I mean, I don't see that fight happening. I think Conor fights Nate again for the money, but if he doesn't finish the title, then that'll be one hell of a fight.
Yeah, is this fight isn't for interim, is it?
Yeah, it's an interim title fight.
Oh, it's an interim title fight.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't even realize that it was.
So the winner fights Conor.
The winner fights Conor.
And to unify the titles.
I think. Well, I don't know how soon that's going to happen, actually, because I could see Conor going.
Conor's coming in this fight like a king. He calls the shots.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, I could see him going to boxing. Most likely, I think his number one choice would be Nate Diaz. I think that's going to most likely fight.
It's the biggest fight.
That's the biggest fight, especially MMA wise. And then I think boxing, maybe a fight with Paulie Malignaggi, I think could be the second option for him. Third will probably be a fight with Ferguson or Lee, whoever wins. But I don't see him rushing to fight either one of those guys.
I mean, I don't even see Dana allowing Conor to go back to boxing. I think this is a one and done deal.
Yeah.
And I think even though Conor has the power to do what the fuck he wants, I think at the end of the day, he's still contracted with the UFC, so he's still obligated to fulfill his contract.
He did make a promise to them, and he did say, like at press conferences, that it was going to be his next fight was going to be MMA.
Yeah, and I think with W, not WSOF, IMG, the new ownership of the UFC, I think they want that Nate Diaz fight because they know that's going to bring in a lot of money for their company. So,
and a time that they need,
big
superstars,
time.
They need,
And then competitively, I say Kevin Lee and Ferguson presents, an intriguing matchup with Conor McGregor, but I think we all know that the numbers that Nate and Conor can bring.
Exactly.
So I think that's going to be the next fight for Conor McGregor.
I think so too. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I'm okay with the decision of keeping Lee at Ferguson. I think you are too. And I think looking forward to that card just in general. I think it's a really great card.
Yeah.
So we'll get to our first guest. So she's got Brenda. She fights for Combate. It's a really nice talking to her.
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to enjoy the interview with her. She's somebody to definitely look out for. So here's our interview.
All right. So up next on the show, we have Combate America's atomweight, Brenda Hands of Stone Enriquez, who's coming off a very impressive win over at Combate Americas over at Redlands. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on. And like your fight was pretty impressive. Your pro debut, a very successful one. How do you feel after that fight? And are you still on the high of that win?
Well, I feel pretty good. I think it was a really pretty good pro fight, the first one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun and I enjoy a lot.
That's good.
Especially have a really aggressive opponent that I have. Because I'm always the aggressive one, and she turned the papers on me, and she came to me. I'm like, it makes my game plan change,
Yeah.
So you how was it when she was pressing the action? How did you feel in that moment? Did you realize in the moment, or when you went back to your corner, like, okay, you guys, we need to change it up here? But
no, I realized it in the moment. The first round, she started like, I tried to I stay calm because I see her attacking. I just have to stay calm and see what I would do after it. Like, I don't try to go crazy and I can get hit with something, and get dropped. But I just stay calm.
Nice.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by that fight because both you and Farmer were throwing really strong shots at each other. But
Yeah.
watching that fight, I noticed that your clinch work is really well. Is that something that you worked out in your training camp as far as fighting off the cage?
Yeah, actually, when I train, I'm always training with guys. It's weird if I have a girl training with me.
Yeah.
But we try to train everything, like cage, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, striking. Like we try to do everything. I don't like to just focus on one thing because you never know like your opponent how he's going to react
Right.
on the cage.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So how many fights do you have with Combate? Because this is your first fight with them, your pro debut. How many did they assign you for a couple of fights? How many?
Yeah,
times?
they did sign me for a contract of 5 fights, so I still
Okay.
have. This is my first one, so I still got
Yeah,
time
4
with
more.
it.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
And before then, like you had a pretty impressive amateur record. I think you were 7-1 as an amateur. Talk about like your history, like how you started fighting in MMA and maybe some of your goals in the future.
Well, how I started was me and my brother. We like boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Mexican, we come
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
We love boxing.
Yeah.
So we went to look for a gym that they do boxing, but when we got there, they do boxing and MMA, and they actually told me like 6 months of training. They're like, "Oh, you want to try like an MMA fight?" And I'm like, "Well, it's punching, I like it. Like, let's try it." So I did, and I love the sport. Like try every sport, and this is the sport that I really like it a lot. So I did it at my first MMA fight. I won, so I like it. I like the feeling of winning, so I just keep going.
Yeah.
I keep going, and I did, like I say, 8 MMA amateur fights.
Yeah.
With one last in Vegas. But it was I enjoy that sport, so that's why I keep going.
Yeah.
That's good.
And in terms of when they asked you to go to MMA, were you doing boxing, competing in boxing as well at that time?
No, we just started. Like we started and they start training me everything. Like we start training everything. Like I thought it was boxing, but anyways, I like that sport and I keep doing the punching and all that stuff, and I love it. Like I never did wrestling or anything at school.
Yeah.
I only like did like not street fights, but just like defending my little brother because he was always like the point someone wants to hit him. So I never did anything on my experience of any karate. Like I knew most of the guys or girls. They say, "Oh, I did karate, wrestling," and I'm like, "Oh, I did nothing of those."
Now, this is something off topic, but since you like boxing, I'm going to ask you. Tell me like your thoughts on the Canelo fight because people thought Canelo lost that fight, and a lot of people were saying that Triple G won. Now, what are your thoughts on that fight, and do you think that Canelo lost that fight?
To be honest, I think they were pretty close because they were hitting each other with good ones. Like it was like kind of a fight between my family and I because we were all there, and some they were going for Triple G, and some of us were going for Canelo, and they're like, "Oh, Canelo." I was going for Canelo.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going for Canelo, but I told them I don't think I think it was a really close fight because they were like hitting each other with everything. It was like Canelo got hit and Triple G got hit at the same time. They were just back and forward. So I'm like, I don't think they robbed no one. So I think just it was a pretty
good fight.
Like on my fight, to be honest, I thought it was gonna be like a draw when the judges say they give identical cards. I'm like, fuck, oh my god, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. But good thing I got a win on that.
Yeah, for sure.
And how was it for your family? Because you were fighting almost pretty much the same weekend as all the other big fights over the weekend. Like it was like getting them together, watching your fight, getting back together, watching the Canelo fight.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have family. I have my dad and my mom in Mexico.
Yeah.
So they were going crazy. They watch it over there in Mexico. They people from New Mexico, Arizona, like my whole family. I have family everywhere.
Yeah.
So they were all watching it. As soon as my fight finished, my phone was blowing up with messages, especially with my parents. They were like, they don't like. My mom is not too much into me doing this.
Yeah.
But my dad is. He liked it, but my mom said that my dad was going crazy.
I'm sure she was.
No, and my mom, I bet she was praying and crying.
Now, speaking of family, like you have like a 6-year-old daughter, right? Correct?
She's 9.
She's 9. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. Wow, she's big. Talk about that. I mean, is that hard, kind of being a mom and a fighter at the same time, and how do you work that out as far as your schedule?
Yeah, it is hard because right now she's at school.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get out from work, I work from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I get out from work and I have to take her to school. So I end up going to bed like at 9, 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus
And
Christ.
I sleep a couple hours while I go. Like I have to do food for her and go pick her up and I guess she's come home and she eats and do her homework and then we go training like right away. Sometimes she has to take her homework at training like.
Oh wow.
It
That
is
must be.
yeah, it is what it is. Like when you want to do something, you just have to put time to it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And you're currently based in Utah, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in Utah.
How long have you lived in Utah?
Like for 11 years, I would
11
say.
years?
10,
Oh,
11
wow.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, is there a reason why you live out there? Or it just happened to be that way?
My sister, I was following my sister.
Oh, okay, okay, nice.
Yeah, she moved, so I moved.
Nice.
Now you made a very successful pro debut. Like, when do you are looking at the next fight next for Combate and maybe some of your goals for this year?
Well, they're my manager and my coach. They're trying to see if I can get a fight soon too.
Is there anyone that you're looking at to in your head as far as calling out somebody, or it's whoever they put you in front of you?
It's cool. Whoever, like I said in my last interviews, like I don't like to run before walking. It's just my first pro, you know. I'm not gonna go there and start calling. Now I want this and this. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I like to go slow.
Yeah.
You know, the slow and whoever they, like I say, whoever they put in front of me, like I will not say, I will never say no to a fight.
Yeah.
Like that's what I like to do. And if whoever they put in front of me, just be able to fight them. You know, I just keep training every day.
Yeah.
Except this week, I keep it off this week.
Well, yeah, you deserve it. Yeah.
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 So the Combate caters to like they try to promote to the Latino fans, to the Mexican fans. Is that something that that kind of drew you to the organization to be like, you know, you'd like to fight for them, that you've like to fight for the company? Is something that you're proud of?
Yeah, I really like to fight for them, like the way they're promoting the Latinos and everything, and the atomweight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's I really like it. I really like how they do things, so I'm really happy to be with them.
Yeah, awesome.
No, I'm not sure. Like, does your weight class have an actual title, or do you know of?
My class, like they have a title or something.
Yeah, your atom weight class. Do you guys have a title in that division?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys do or not.
Atomweight, yeah, I think they have a title, but I don't know who have.
Oh, okay.
Who holds the title?
Oh, okay.
Who holds that? I think no one holds the title yet. They need to fight it for it. So that's what I'm saying right now.
For, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you have no kind of idea of when exactly you're going to fight next. When would you like to fight? Before the end of the year, or maybe November, December?
It will be good before. It will be great if I fight before the end of the year. You know, to close the year.
Yeah.
But like I just try to keep, like before fighting for Combate, I stayed without fighting for a year. So I was out for a year. So all that year, like I don't stay home. I keep training because you never know when they're gonna call you and say, hey, you gotta fight. You're gonna need to get ready. So I don't like to get ready, like get my cardio back. Like no, I just like to be ready and ready to go. Yeah.
How discouraging was that, not being able to fight for a year? I mean, I'm sure at some point you want to just like get that out of your life and just focus on other things.
Well, I think that's already my life. Yeah, that's what I only do. Like I train, I work, and I spend time with my daughter and my family. I think that's, if I don't go train, I feel weird. Like if I stay home, I'm like, oh, what I'm gonna do with my life? I just
go dating.
Well, it was not dating. God, no, they don't like the time I have right now. Not enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was kind of like I really wanted to fight. It was for a year, so I was getting, you know, and like I told my manager, hey, I need to fight, you know, like everybody, my teammates, they keep fighting, I keep waiting, like. But he's like, just be patient, and patient is the clue, you know. You just have to be patient for everything. So.
Yeah, I read somewhere that like you're having trouble finding an opponent, like girls didn't want to fight you. Is that true?
Well, I didn't know because when my amateur, we didn't find anyone else. Like I fight on 115 and I win the title of 115. And then I moved to the atomweight of 105 and I won the title of 105 and amateur. But yeah, we bring girls from New Mexico and from California. But they were really tough too. But after that, didn't we tried to get another one on
Right.
fight, but we didn't find no one.
Mm.
Awesome. So, well, we want to thank you for being on the show. It was great meeting you. We look forward to seeing you again in Combate and hopefully see your next fight. Do you want to tell the fans how they can find you on social media and maybe some of your sponsors that you want to like give a shout out to?
Oh sure. First, I want to say thank you to you guys for reaching to me and
Yeah.
for letting me do that interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can find me at Little Hands of Stone on my Instagram. That's how they find me, Little Hands of Stone, and my fan page on Facebook. That's the same, Little Hands of Stone.
Awesome.
And just wanna give a shout out to my gyms. It's Victory MMA that they've been helping me a lot, and Hidden Valley, and my sponsors, Damage Plan, Backed Up, and Dove Nutrition, that they helped me too a lot to get prepared for my fights, and especially my family and my friends and my fans that they always encourage me and sending me messages.
That's awesome. Well, you have a great day and try to relax. I know like you're busy with fighting, being a mother, and working. So try to find a little time for you to relax and don't forget about Josh and I when you get big time and become like a world champion and famous. Don't forget about us. All right.
Nah, thank you so much for your time.
All right, Brenda. All right,
Thank
take
you.
care. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Ciao.
And that was Brenda, Little Hands of Stone, Enriquez, who made a very successful pro debut over at Combate Americas. We look forward to seeing her progression in MMA. And yeah, thanks for being on. It was a great interview.
Yeah. No, she was awesome, man. She was a really fun, entertaining interview.
Yeah, for sure.
So next, kind of want to discuss the whole Canelo Triple G, but not necessarily the fight. I wanted to Adelaide Berg. I think she's or he. I think
it's a she.
She.
Yeah.
Is she had the controversial scorecard on the Canelo Triple G fight. She's getting a lot of heat from it. And she's scheduled to judge for 216, UFC 216. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these judges that are in boxing, maybe some of the ones that work fights that are a little bit controversial, mm-hmm. are the same judges that are used for MMA a lot of the time. It's not, if not most of the time. So the fact that she might judge 216, do you think, in her controversial scoring on the Canelo Triple G fight, do you think she should be allowed to judge ever again? Do you think she is deserving of the hate that she's getting? What do you think?
I always felt uncomfortable when I want someone to get fired or leave their position. I think she should get fined by the commission in some way or get punished for it. I wouldn't go as far as her getting fired, but I know it just seems like when judges do these crazy decisions or scorecards, they're usually in boxing. Usually they don't translate the same way in MMA. Yeah. I think boxing is a sport that's corrupt. I think it brings a lot of revenue to the city, especially Vegas. And so a lot of Vegas commissioners have they do something corrupt just to keep that fighter going. I don't think it's the same thing in MMA. Yeah. And I've seen it happen. I've seen crazy judges score MMA fights, and it's not the same. Yeah. Maybe because MMA isn't as corrupt as boxing, but I mean, hopefully she doesn't, judge the way she judged in the Canelo fight. But I don't think it's gonna be a problem, to be honest.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really see the commission doing too much in terms of,
especially in Nevada.
Yeah, especially in Nevada, especially like taking her off the card. I don't see them doing that much. They're not known for punishing their refs or their judges all that much. It's like you don't hear remember all the controversial decisions and scorecards that we used to have in MMA a lot way back.
Yeah.
Which we do still sometimes here and there.
No consequence.
There were no consequences. Steve Mazzagatti and used to, nothing would happen to the guy ever. So the commissions don't normally punish their officials. So I don't see much happening to this situation.
I think the only commission that I think we've seen in hand is I think the California kind of holds their refs and judges accountable for the decisions. But a commission like Nevada, who is kind of known to be like a circus.
Yeah.
They don't. It just seems like all they care about is bringing money or revenue to the city.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so too. And their commissions aren't known for punishing their people, so I just don't see this happening. I don't. I mean, obviously, I think she's gonna be. She's gonna have a lot of eyes on her. People are gonna be checking her scorecards. So I think this is gonna, she's gonna have to mind her P's and Q's and watch what she's actually putting down on paper, because people are gonna have a lot of eyes and watching her next couple of fights that she officiates.
And do you know it's gonna be a title fight or just one of the fights?
Not sure. I don't know what she's actually doing. She might. I don't know if they.
Not that it matters. I think every fight's important especially for a fighter who's fighting for their career.
Exactly. So I'm not sure exactly what role she's taking in terms of 216 and the judging, but she's gonna, as of now, still on the card as an official judge.
Yeah, because I do know that the fighters have a say of kind of speaking their minds and having a fighter or a judge not judge their fights.
Yeah.
I think they can appeal that. So we'll see what happens.
And then in terms of the Triple G and Canelo fight, I think a lot of people still felt like it was a very controversial, very corrupt decision. And this is coming from a lot of boxing people. So it's funny that, they clown on the Mayweather and McGregor fight. That one kind of ended in a very...
In a positive way for everybody.
Way for everybody. You had a winner, you had a loser, and
a clear winner, loser. Yeah.
But even then, if it went to the scorecards, I think we would have still had controversy, because the scorecards were favoring Mayweather when a lot of people felt Conor was winning.
I mean, Mayweather losing a decision would never happen.
Yes, and
no matter how bad Mayweather looks,
even if he won the overall fight, I think the fact that a lot of those rounds were given to him instead of Conor when it was clearly for him.
Yeah, they're Conor. I mean, that's Mayweather City. They're going to protect him as much as they can.
Yeah, it just shows you how corrupt that sport is. It's crazy, and it doesn't.
There's no integrity.
Yeah, it doesn't stop, and I think people forget, and then they get reminded over and over again, and then,
Yeah, the fight overall was exciting though. I enjoyed it very much, but that decision was insane. But everyone knew Triple G won.
And in terms of boxing fans, how many times for big fights? How many times do they get disappointed? Like almost every time. Like I can't remember the last like big boxing event where casual boxing fans were like just in awe of what they saw, or like were so happy with the decision or whatever. Like everything ran smooth. There's always some type of controversy. There's always some type of like negative asterisk put on the fight at the end of it, and people are left with the sour taste in their mouth and wondering why they spent the $60. Like, it's just happens all the time.
Did you see some of the streams on YouTube and stuff? It was ridiculous. I think there's one household where they were watching the fight, and then some guy goes, "Oh, the Rocco fight's next," and this guy goes, "Fuck that fight! I don't want to see gay guys rolling around. This is the fight." And I can see the guy like shadow boxing when watching the fight, and they showed like the whole room. Like I think they were in the backyard or a house in the pool, and it was a packed house, and people were like shadow boxing watching the fight, and everyone was just regarding the MMA fight. It was kind of sad.
It was kind of sad. Yeah, I mean,
I want to go in there and strangle everybody if I could, but I couldn't.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. It's just there's still education.
But then I wonder how
process going on.
If the same stream would be going on earlier in the night if that room was still as full. Yeah, I doubt it'd probably be in the pool.
Well, I know that the Triple G fight ended at least 15 minutes or so, or 30 minutes before Rockhold and Branch went on. Yeah. So fight fans had a chance to watch both.
Yeah, Joe Rogan. Yeah, Joe Rogan had a fight companion.
And he watched both. So. Next up, I know they had Rousey's coach, Taverdian, had some choice words and some comments on Ariel's show recently on the MMA Hour, saying that he wanted Rousey to return for one more fight against Cyborg. And then, Ariel brought up a bunch of other, topics with him regarding his own personal stuff. But in terms of this fight with this, fantasy fight with Cyborg and Rousey, like, why even bring it up? What's the point?
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like he's looking out for his own sake, and
right.
Recently he filed for bankruptcy, so maybe he wants to make as money as he can, and I think being behind the camera, kind of luring people from the outside coming to his gym. I think that's his only concern. He can say all he wants that it's not because of that, but it's because of that. Because we all know that Cyborg is way too big, way too strong, and much a better fighter than Ronda. I think it'll be a one-sided fight.
Yeah.
So
I think so too. I think that fight is never going to happen, especially now. And the fact that he's even bringing it up, and it's just like, to me, it shows you the kind of character he is, his character, and the fact that he wants to put his fighter is that he brought up in a very dangerous position, very dangerous situation, a very dangerous fight, at a point in her career where she's at her lowest, and doesn't look like she's ever going to fight again. And he wants to put her against the most dangerous fighter
the crop,
in women's fighting, and he wants, I don't know, it just seems like a money grab to me.
And a fighter who's what, at 145, a bigger fighter, a very dangerous bigger fighter, and like, why? Who's been active and been a beast in the cage. Well, that and I think, I mean, he needs to realize that. I think Ronda's direction is clear right now. She's going to do the WWE stuff. I think for those of guys who watch pro wrestling, they're doing that angle right now with the 4 horsewomen of wrestling versus the 4 horsewomen of MMA. They're clearly making that angle. They pushed Shayna to the finals of the Mae Young Classic. They did some backstage vignettes of, you ever seen them?
Yeah.
Of like Ronda and her clique
going
against
with the
Charlotte.
4 horsewomen,
going against each other. So they're doing that angle for Survivor Series. So for me to bring that up, it's clear that Ronda has no interest in MMA. She's in the pro wrestling. She's been a super fan for years, and she's gonna do something that she always wanted to do in the pro wrestling. It's a job where she doesn't get hurt, and she's making a lot of money. She's gonna be making, like, I heard something like over $5 million.
Yes. I mean, I would say.
So why would you
stick with the safe sport? I mean, there's no reason.
And then Vince is going to give her a schedule. She pretty much gets limited dates, and she's going to get paid over $5 million.
Yeah,
with limited dates. She doesn't have to be working house shows, and she doesn't have to be working every week on what. No, it's going to be.
She's going to get the Brock Lesnar schedule.
Yeah,
basically.
She's making like $5 million a year.
Yeah. Just I think she's good where she's at. Develop that career. I don't think anybody's really going to fault her for doing something like that. So all the power to her.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're going to get to our next guest. His name is Ariel Machado. He fights for Glory Kickboxing. He's light heavyweight, won the light heavyweight tournament back in August in Chicago, and now he fights in France next month for the light heavyweight title. So this is our interview with Ariel Machado.
You thank you for being on the show. We're looking forward to your next fight coming up in October. You're fighting for the title. How are you feeling, man? Because I know you're looks like you're in the gym right now training. How's everything going?
I feel good, man. I feel good. I appreciate for the opportunity from Glory, and I have been training so much since my last fight in Glory, so I feel good. If you need, I can fight in the next weekend.
Yeah.
So I will be there.
Yeah, awesome.
Now I know all fights are important, but this particular fight is very important because it's for the title. Now this fight is going to be taking place in Paris. Are you going to leave to Paris like a week before, or like give me the timeline of when you want to go back to Paris to train for your fight?
Você tá indo para Paris uma semana antes da luta? Como que tá o teu rotina, teu itinerário?
All week, and I will go to Holland in 14 August for finish my camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I'm not for sure for that. So I think it's that.
Okay.
Você vai fazer o camp e depois você vai para lá.
Eu vou sempre finalizar o campo lá.
And you recently won the tournament, the light heavyweight tournament. How was that going through the tournament for you in Glory, and then which eventually led to your title shot right now? How are you feeling? You've been was that like a proud moment for you to win that tournament?
Ele falou como é que está se sentindo pelas tuas últimas vitórias. Isso tem sido um momento glorioso para você. Tipo assim, dizer o que você está sentindo nessa caminhada toda. Assim. Acho que seria legal você falar que tá ótimo, muito bom, e você tá pronto para mais, que isso é só o começo.
Okay. I think they won the tournament and they won the fights in the glory, like I won the Pavel, is just the beginning for my career in the glory. I think now when I won the title, I really began a new
era. A
new era in the glory. You know, a new champion and
a new story.
A new story from glory.
Nice.
Now talk about your next opponent. Is there something that you're looking at to expose from your opponent, and what kind of different techniques are you working on for this championship fight in October?
Against Bahitov.
Em outubro, né? Ele tá falando que o teu próximo lutador, ele é um cara que ele costuma analisar as pessoas e tudo mais. Se você tá fazendo a mesma coisa com ele, tá analisando os movimentos dele.
Vatov is a very good fighter, but I'm more smart and stronger, faster, and he's don't win. Don't won, and nobody don't won a tournament. He don't deserve to be a champion. I deserve to be a champion.
More well-rounded. Well-rounded. Fala que você é mais well-rounded.
I'm more well-rounded.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, and you have a pretty really impressive, mixed MMA career. You have a very, very impressive kickboxing career. Is that something that also makes you very well-rounded? Is that something that where you're still going to continue to do both sports, for the rest of your fighting career? You're going to go back and forth between both sports?
Entendeu?
Não.
Ele tá elogiando tua carreira no MMA e no kickboxing. É muito impressionante o que você fez em tão pouco tempo. E ele quer saber se você vai continuar fazendo os dois ou vai ficar só no kickboxing.
I just fight kickboxing now.
Okay.
Don't want to fight MMA more.
MMA.
The MMA is behind from my career now.
Yeah, awesome.
And I know that you also fight at middleweight. Are you going to plan to win the bout and then go back to middleweight and maybe win the middleweight title? Or are you just going to stick to that heavyweight?
No, after my fight with Vakhtov, after I will be a champion, I want to fight with Rico.
Oh, wow.
I want to...
Oh, you're going to go up?
Yeah. It's more easy for me. More challenging, more money, and I don't need to lose weight,
Yeah,
that's true. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Because when I was fighting middleweight, I need to lose 14 kilos in 10 days, man. It's not easy for me.
Oh, yeah.
10 days, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's too
because
much.
The injury is shoulder, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. And so you started in martial arts. You started especially kickboxing at a young age, like 14, right? Did you was that the first martial arts you took on, or did you take on other martial arts? And how was it? Because you prepared so young in martial arts and you had so much success in martial arts.
Foi a tua primeira arte marcial, foi o kickbox, foi o Muay Thai?
Yeah, I began when I was 14 years, like you said. So my first technical training is kickboxing.
Yeah.
When I was 14 years, I started in the kickboxing, and when I was 16 years old, I make my first professional fighter.
Oh, nice. Now, is there a reason why you got into kickboxing? Was it just for exercise, or was it because you want to defend yourself in the streets?
Alguma coisa que você gostava da arte ou foi só para se defender?
No, I like the sports.
More girls, right? Fighting, you get more girls.
Yeah. For sure, man.
And how do you feel the fact that like you're new to the organization in Glory, and then you had a very impressive tournament victory, and then you got a title shot so soon in your Glory career? Is that something that did you think it was going to come this soon, or did you think it might be later in your career with Glory?
Ele estava de novo falando bem do todo o seu desempenho em tão pouco tempo. E você esperava isso ou você achava que isso ia demorar muito para acontecer?
When I went to fight with Pavel, I know it's a difficult fight, but I won the fight. So when I won the Pavel, I know my career in the Glory is so fast, and I will be the champion. So early.
Assim que você sabia, I knew it.
I knew it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Glory is a global promotion. It's been watched around the world. From the United States to pretty much everywhere. Is learning English for you important, or is it something that you just do it just for fun.
Learning.
Perguntou quanto você acha isso importante.
And I think my English is better. I improve
Yeah,
my
no,
English.
it's good. It's good.
But I need to practice more, and
For your image.
yeah.
and to get American girls too.
Também para ganhar mulheres americanas.
No, I don't need it. I'm married, man.
Oh, good answer.
At least to defend himself from
That's funny.
So there's also a former Glory, fighter in Gokhan Saki who's fighting in the UFC this weekend.
Yeah.
How do you feel his chances are going over into, because he doesn't have a lot of mixed martial arts or
MMA
experience.
esse cara aí que vai lutar?
I think the Saki is a very good fighter. I don't know in the MMA. I trained with him in 2010 in Golden Glory. I don't know when I was training with him. He's told me he want like to fight MMA, but I think the money is better for him. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think he's won the fight, but who knows? It's MMA. MMA is a great fight.
Yeah.
Now, after this fight in October, is there someone in your mind that you want to call out after your fight and after you win that title? Is there someone that you're looking to compete against next?
I want to fight with Rico, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just speaking him, but now I just speaking Vaktov.
Yeah.
After I won, I think I will be knockout him in the first or second round. I don't know, but after the fight, I want to, because he could just make a fake fight, you know. Mm-hmm. Now we fight against Pezão. Who's Pezão, my friend?
Yeah.
Don't have a fight with him.
Good
so
fights.
I'm here. I'm a real fight. Mm-hmm. I will be a real champ. So maybe if he's want.
Awesome. So, well, we want to thank you for being on the show. I think we look forward to your next fight, and hopefully wish you the best and get get a victory. Go ahead and maybe tell the fans how to find you on social media, and some of the sponsors that you want to give a shout out to.
Tá, peraí. Agora ele tá perguntando se quer mandar uma mensagem pra galera, fãs, patrocinadores e tudo. Pensa aí.
I just want to say I will be the champion, and nothing and nobody will take this from me. And send a hug for all my fans around the world.
Awesome. All right. Well, best of luck on your fight, and we'll see you in October. And obrigado.
Okay, obrigado, man.
All right. Take care, man.
Take care.
Okay, take care.
All right, so that was Ariel Machado. Thank you for him for being on the show. It was a great interview, all the way from Curitiba, Brazil. Looking forward to his fight in Glory, and always love Glory fights.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's get to fight picks. Close out the show. Great show, great guest, man. This weekend you have a lot of fights. You have UFC Fight Night 117, St. Peru versus Okami, stepping in for the injured Shogun, which is a curveball out of nowhere. But it's good to see Okami back into the UFC. Against the St. Peru. It's going to be an interesting fight. I was looking forward to seeing Shogun, but he's injured. He's got a knee injury. But it is what it is. So it's a really good card. Like we said earlier with Ariel, Gokhan Saki's making his MMA debut, at least his UFC debut. I know he said at one fight, at least in MMA. Taka Norigomi on the card. You have the co-main event, Jessica Andrade versus Claudia Gadelha. Really great fight here. Who do you have?
That should be the main event.
That should be the main event.
Oh man, this is a hard fight. I'm gonna go Claudia.
Claudia.
It's a close fight. I mean, Jessica Andrade, she's no joke, man. She's up there in top of the heap. But I like Claudia. I think Claudia's fought the champ a couple times already, and she has that experience. I think she's a phenomenal striker, and her jiu-jitsu is on point. So I'm gonna pick Claudia.
Same with me. I think I'm gonna go with Claudia in this one. I think I watch her, follow her on Instagram. I follow her stuff. She looks like she's taking this fight very seriously,
so
and
hot,
she looks
too.
great, man. She looks great.
She's a hottie.
Yeah. So,
My God, she's so hot.
and then you have that experience. I mean, I think it's a factor. I think Claudia, or Jessica Andrade is very tough, but in terms of making it a competitive fight with Joanna, Claudia, I think, had the better competitive fight.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way for this fight against Jessica.
Sure.
So
for sure,
that fight is in Japan. It's on UFC Fight Pass. It's on FXX, and that's this weekend. St. Peru versus Okami. Who do you have?
I like St. Peru. I mean, Okami's been out of the game for a very long time.
Yeah.
The last time he fought, he didn't look too good. We all know he's a big guy. He has good grappling, but I think St. Peru can take him in this fight, and I pick him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with St. Peru too. I think with his overall activity, he's comfortable in the UFC. Okami's returning after a long layoffs. I think it's all about St. Peru in this fight.
Yeah, for sure.
You also have LFA 23 Kranz versus Nakashima. You have Bellator 183 this weekend. That's in San Jose. You have Ben Henderson versus Prichuki Pitbull. Who do you have for that main event?
I'm gonna go with Ben Henderson. I know that didn't they fight there once before?
Yeah, but he fought the other one.
Yeah.
This is the other Pitbull.
Yeah, the other Pitbull. I'm just gonna go with Henderson. Yeah, I mean, I can see Henderson losing this fight though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just stick with Henderson.
I'm probably gonna go with Henderson too.
Yeah.
You have Roy Nelson making his debut. You have Lorenz Larkin, Paul Daly.
It's great. It's a great card.
Yeah. You have Adam Piccolotti versus Gochi Yamauchi. You have Justin Lin fighting against Aaron Pico, who's looking to finally get a win in the Bellator and start his career. So it's a really good card, man.
Yeah, Pico's a local guy. Local fighter for here in the Whittier area,
LA area, I guess.
LA area, I should say. But but I think the Bellator card is the more exciting card.
Yeah, definitely.
Than the UFC, but
definitely.
Thank God for me having the DVR, so I'm gonna tape both and fast forward through all the BS.
Yeah, me too. So, great night of fights. Great show today. Thank you for all our guests for being on the show. And man, look forward to more episodes, more shows, and the new studio. I think we're gonna get used to this new setup.
Yeah, I love it.
I think it's very so.
It's very comfortable. It's like talking like in the living room or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gonna be interesting from here on out and with the show. And I'm glad you guys are here to go along the ride with us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, watch the show. This is iTunes also, and go to themmacomplex.com.
And while you're there at themmacomplex.com, you can go ahead and purchase their shirts.
Yes.
1995. Buy it, support the show, support us, and spread the word. But as far as our Twitter handle, you can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James. You can follow him on Twitter, MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the MMA Complex on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all under the MMA Complex. Yeah, new studio, great fight season. I'm looking forward to the fights and looking forward to next weekend. So until then, you guys enjoy the fights and enjoy your week.